Tonight I am going to get the wall here all ready to, I do want to plaster this. I'm not an expert at it. I'm going to just start off the evening by saying that I'm not an expert at this. I know enough to be dangerous. But I want to get all my joints. I don't know if you saw the earlier video where we had the dog door over here, but we removed that over the weekend. Have a new piece of blue board up, and now I want to tape that. So I'm going to use some fiberglass tape and get it ready. When I get ready to tape a wall like this, I want to make sure all my screws, that all the heads are just below the surface. Not all the way through. I went a little overboard on that one. But you want to just dimple the surface of the paper. I also went through and made sure, like we had trim up here before that I took off. I'm going to change that. But you can see where the paint line was. So I just ran my knife over all of this and made sure that was clean. I got all the loose stuff off of here. The cut, I tried to do a nice job on it, but it was a little rough. So I made sure everything loose was off of here. And now I'm ready to take this up. I like using fiberglass, the mesh tape, and I'm just going to line that right up. Up here, we've got this old piece, and the joint is actually right over the header of the slider, and just over time, as things kind of settle out, it cracked. When I do blue board or sheetrock, I don't like to have a joint lining right up on the framing like that. I might have the joint back over here and have the piece, a full piece, come over this to kind of eliminate crack potential. But I've got a piece right here, so I'm going to tape that also. Just want to have everything out. Alright, that is all set. Alright, so I'm going to cover my joints with a product called Durabond. It's also known as a setting compound. Stephanie likes to use joint compound. Some couples will argue over what TV show they're going to watch. We argue over joint compound versus Durabond. If I were doing this in joint compound and I needed to get in and out of somewhere, I'd put a coat on and I'd have to wait for that to dry. And it might, depending upon the conditions, it might take all day to dry. It could take half a day. It all depends. With Durabond, they have different set times. This one, it has about an hour working time. Again, that can vary. And this will be hard to the touch, and you can recoat. With this, in about an hour, a little bit longer. There are ones that you could redo it in 20 minutes. I don't like working with that. I'm not that good, and you wind up throwing away more than what you actually put on the walls. I don't have the evidence to back it up, but I feel that this is harder than joint compound. I haven't had the cracks using Durabond like I have with using joint compound. Again, maybe it was the way I was doing it. The disadvantage to using this for the average person is you have to mix it up. With joint compound, I just open up the container, mix it up a little bit. Sometimes I add a little bit of water if it feels kind of stiff. I'll add some water and mix it in and apply it, and it's done. With this, it's a powder. you've got to mix it up, and you know, it requires clean water. You've got to keep your tools clean. And again, it's just those extra steps kind of drag things out. But for this small job, I'm just using a little mud pan. I'm going to put a couple of scoops in. If I were doing a much bigger job, I would have a couple of buckets set up. I've got a larger drill and a mixer to speed up the process. I'm just going to put a little bit in here and add some water in. It up just with my knife. But you know what? It's kind of boring using the knife. So some smart person somewhere out there, I don't know who to give the credit to, suggested using a kitchen mixer, the beaters. In a cordless drill. Like this. You want to mix it, get all the lumps out of it. It's going to want to be like, almost like pancake batter, like that type of a consistency. This is the part that's not always so fun. And you want to make sure too that, as I said before, clean tools. But this stuff sets up, and it is a pain. It doesn't sand as nice as joint compound. So I just want to try to get as much of this off right now as possible. Now with joint compound, you could, if you're really not comfortable working with it, you can leave it like this and sand it later on with, using a setting compound like we're using tonight. I want to get all those ridges and everything out of there. I'd like to try to get it as smooth as possible, even though I'm going to go back later and add additional coats and, keep going wider and wider. I want to keep it smooth. See, look at that. I got a little bit of right in there. All right, let's keep going. All right, quick and easy. Now it's time to clean all this up before it sets up. And later on, once this becomes hard to touch, I can go ahead and add another coat onto here. And again, I'm going to go with a larger knife, go a little bit further out, just like I would with joint compound. So, and then after that, we'll plaster this whole patch in and blend it in with the rest of the wall. But that is for another night. With this stuff, setting compounds, it can actually clog your sink up, even though you're running the water and cleaning everything out of here. This will go down the drain and sit there and set up and cause big problems for you. So, for this little job where it's small, I put some water in here. I've got my paper towels and I'm just cleaning everything out like that.